LeBron. I don't like his not a little bit. You do not understand the lengths this man would go to. This dates back more than a decade. I believe he's one way publicly, he's another way privately. You know, he might not be interviewed and he might not be quoted, but the things he says and the things he has said to people, it's gotten back.
Remember this incident with Stephen A. Smith in March 2025 when LeBron James, the great player for the Los Angeles Lakers, challenged him? Let's fast forward to October.
LeBron, I don't like his not a little bit. You do not understand the lengths this man would go to. This dates back more than a decade. I believe he's one way publicly, he's another way privately. You know, he might not be interviewed and he might not be quoted, but the things he says and the things he has said to people, it's gotten back to me. The things that he's tried to do, if it were up to him, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's some low. The day that he rolled up on me courtside, it was the day my contract was announced, that I had stayed with ESPN. Go back and look at the camera angles. I arrived there in the first quarter. He rolled up on me in the third quarter. This is 2025. We got technology everywhere. TNT is a nationally televised game. How is it we got one angle and the only angle you see was of him and his face, but you see the back of my peanut head? I know this, but I know a thing or two about camera angles. I determine them half the time.
Yep.
Do this angle, do this angle, do that angle. This is my business.
I ask you straight up, do you think you felt set up in that moment?
Damn right I did.
You thought he had somebody out there too?
Damn right that did.
Okay.
Damn right. That's how I feel.
Okay.
But.
And Stephen A. is still discussing it, this time at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn on Carmelo Anthony's podcast. This is an obvious follow-up. That's not all, of course, but why are you bringing it up if it's not a huge deal?
Not the way to win anyway. So this is what I've done. And so, you know, what you see is a different culture. That's a conversation we never get into it really about in professional sports, but primarily the NBA, where you got cats and they go at NBA players and stuff like that. Like, you know, you bring up LeBron. You ever see LeBron go at a white boy? It's called what it is. You ever see him do that? You saw him come at me. Closest you ever came to seeing him do something like that was when he called out Brian Windhorst. What you calling out Brian Windhorst for? The man covered you since junior high school and has praised you repeatedly. And you used the Pat McAfee situation to go at him. You understand? And that's the only time you ever seen LeBron James, you know, really go at somebody white. I'm gonna call it what it is. You know, so we understand each other. You know, I understand a lot more. And I'll tell you, I'll divulge to my boy and his boy right here, you know, when I did my monologue for 17 and a half, 18 minutes, the day after he decided to go on Pat McAfee's show, all right? And I said what I said and meant every syllable of what I said. Immediately after, I was informed that we won't be hearing more from him about me. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because I got receipts. Anytime, any place, anywhere. It's not just him. I pride myself on being a fair-minded individual, being professional, but I'm also a proud black man. Apologize publicly. See, with somebody like LeBron, you ain't getting no apology. I'm too little. I'm too meaningless. I'm too insignificant for somebody like him to be man enough to say, yo, you really didn't do that to my son. You were really calling me out. I was the one that, you know, whether it's getting him into the draft, getting him drafted by the Lakers, having him brought up from the G League, putting him up against Tyrese Maxey in the first quarter on a night after he was in the G League the night before. I didn't call those things out until that last part happened. I didn't say anything when he's a McDonald All-American and he was only averaging 14 points a game. I didn't say anything when he went to USC and he had the heart ailment and people were speculating about.
What does this signify? Wondering what it was and why it was like that. Many would now weigh in.
You know, bigger than going at, I guess, white sports pundits. Like, we've seen LeBron James be a voice for social justice, you know, in a racially divided country. Like, we've seen him do that a lot. We've seen him position himself, you know, throughout his career as a leader on those type of issues. And, you know, somebody of his stature don't have to speak out against a lot of the things that LeBron has spoken out against. So, I mean, saying he never went at a white sports pundit, I don't know if that's even true or not, but I've seen him stand up against white supremacy. LeBron has used his platform to speak on political and social issues.
Yes.
He's done things like, mobilize black voters. He's fought against voter suppression.
Yes,
he did that
absolutely.
in response, to the death of George Floyd. I've seen LeBron James stand up and
stepped up.
speak on issues, especially in regards to race, that he doesn't have to at his level.
Yes.
So I like that more than going at, a white sports.
But I guess he's
Like Charlemagne at the Breakfast Club.
Mello, how are you gonna have Stephen A. Smith on your pod discussing his more than played out beef with LeBron, man? Like, LeBron is your man, bro. Like, I done fell out with some I thought was my brothers, but I ain't gonna let nobody else talk about him in front of me. You know what I'm saying? That was your man, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, everybody accept you as a cool dude, Mello. You chill, you know what I'm saying? But from a content standpoint, Stephen A. Smith hot right now. I ain't finna attack that man, what he's saying. I don't agree with a lot of what he's saying, but I'm gonna always give him his propers for the way he fought to be relevant in black journalism with the Philadelphia Inquirer. So I'm gonna give him his propers for that. But it's a lot of things he say I don't agree with. And one of the main things is the way he deal with certain black celebrities as opposed to white ones.
On this whole not a white boy language thing, man, let's face it, LeBron targets white boys. He hates Donald Trump, the most powerful white boy in the country. He has spoken with Doug Gottlieb, the head coach of the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay and a former D1 collegiate basketball player who now hosts Fox Sports. On Pat McAfee's broadcast, he has attacked Brian Windhorst, for example. Why are we here? Why are we acting in this way? When Stephen A. Smith declares that he despises LeBron, he tweets, "I'm just going to presume Stephen A. in every podcast he's been on, including his own, looked at the data and said, this needs to be a topic every single time. That's how our company operates. Numbers are honest." The Slauson kid stated, "Every day Stephen A. goes on a podcast to say stuff about LeBron that he wouldn't say to his face." Okay, a few things to consider. The first is that Stephen A. Smith is washing cars once more. And this follows after this man was harassed by powerful black people, including activists, legislators, and others with a highly visible voice, writers, journalists, and sportsmen. He's getting roasted on the internet, really. If you haven't watched our earlier movies, I must make it clear that he did two things after criticizing Jasmine Crockett. Someone like Jasmine Crockett can be criticized in a variety of ways. Nobody is flawless. She has been tender, very lenient against Israel. She has been lenient when it comes to opposing corporate greed. A lot of liberals see through it for a reason. However, he chose to attack her due to her speech patterns and the fact that she should effectively be attempting to collaborate with the same individuals who denigrate her and treat her like a second-class citizen. He also received a lot of criticism for that. What did he do after that? He paraded his daughter, who may or may not have been scheduled. He now turns around and asks, "You know what your problem is, LeBron? You don't treat white people harshly." I will add that he made it his mission to bring up Max Kellerman during this podcast of Yoka Wash. Max Kellerman needs someone to talk to now that he has moved on and working for Netflix, doing boxing broadcasts and having a podcast. Max Kellerman kept coming up in his conversation. And he needs to find a new well now that the old one has dried up. And that's the LeBron angle in what might be his final season, although I don't believe it is. Could have been last year coming in second. And furthermore, I know that many people might think that the BSO tweet is incorrect. It isn't. As I have previously stated, I have been in meetings where we discuss the data and the things that can be done more effectively. If Stephen A. Smith, who essentially co-founded Stephen A. with him, can have a whole team of people keeping an eye on what does well and what doesn't do well, solely on social media, then Stephen A. Smith also has a team. I swear to you. I swear. So none of this is shocking. His obtuse analysis never ceases to astound me. But this is who he is. Since he was a writer in a past life, he is currently essentially trying to emulate a sports influencer. It is what it is. It still feels extremely disgusting.